Alrighty, good evening. Welcome to the CREEDCAST. It is Thursday, the 30th of October. We are here to do the squad show for our final home and away game of the season. Hopefully not our final squad show of the season, but we are aware that the finals chances are still a long odds proposition. But we're going to keep the hope there until it's snuffed out. And either way, the way we've been finishing the season has been quite entertaining and very, very promising for the future, whether that future is a finals appearance or if we're starting to look towards 2026 after this weekend's game. This weekend's game being against the GWS Giants up at Henson Park in the Sydney suburbs. We play the GWS Giants this weekend, 12:35 p.m. Saturday lunchtime, local time. That 12:35 p.m. here is local to South Australia that we play. So whether you're going to be there, I'm sure there'll be a few Port Adelaide fans there. Our fans do travel well, or watching at home here, or watching on TV, and hoping that we can finish off our season strong and leave ourselves the door, to kind of poke our foot in the door for any of those scenarios that will see us play finals, which I can actually just have a quick look at those. Basically, I'm reading this from the 7AFL, an Instagram post they put up the other day in which they kind of put together all the final scenarios. And basically for us, obviously if Port Adelaide lose, we miss finals. That's pretty simple. But if Port Adelaide win, we finish 8th. If West Coast and Sydney lose, plus approximately a 20% gap, a 20% gap is made up to the Eagles. So there's percentages in play there. And then, of course, we're relying on a couple of results. And there's certainly two teams that, will be fighting. I mean, West Coast in particular are looking to make their first finals appearance. And, so there's scenarios, as I said, proposition of making finals is long. But, hey, let's just win the game and put ourselves in position. And either way, we'll be finishing off the season quite strongly with the two very, very impressive wins that we've had in the past couple of weeks against finals contenders, top four contenders, and all that, and set ourselves up with a springboard going into 2026 after what has been quite a tough fixture for us this year. I've done some scenario plotting out of kind of the results of this year versus last year that I'm going to put up as a socials post at some point tomorrow, just so people can kind of have a look and see kind of a little bit more of a very easy way to look at the context of what our season looked like last year versus this year. Who we've played, the majority of the games being against top finals contending opposition versus last season when we made that run to finals. A lot of those games and all of our wins coming against teams that had won 4 games or less. Up until obviously when we got into finals, we were able to get some form in there, but it took us playing some lesser opposition to build up that form. We kind of didn't get that springboard this year. We're having to play some tough games all the way through, and I think we have learnt a lot from them. Anyway, this is the squad show, so we should look at the squads. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to briefly look at the sides. I won't go into too much more apart from just saying what's been announced, and then Jamie sent in his voice notes. Again, Jamie on podcast paternity leave still, but he's sending in his voice note. So he's got a voice note for this portion of the podcast, and then he's got one for later on when we get into the Patreon part of the episode. So if you're not a Patreon member, patreon.com/thecreed1870, sign up there, $5.99 a month. It's pretty cheap and helps pay for the costs of the podcast, and then we just throw a little bit of extra gear in there. So Jamie's got some words about kind of the rule changes, the Ben Rutten appointment in there as well. But for now, he's got a note about the game ahead. But before I get to that, I'll just read out what we've got changes-wise for this week. And it's one we talked about on the main show on Tuesday when we were talking about what could possibly happen with the fact that Julia Teakle was named as available. And we both kind of had the talk that it would be this team over the last couple of weeks. It's been unchanged for a couple of weeks. Has earned the right to have a crack at this last game of the season. But then there is also the fact that Julia Teakle is just such an important member of the squad. She's in the leadership group, obviously, as a vice captain. And I kind of brought up that, unfortunately, as much as Chloe Gaunt has been doing her very, very best, and honestly got a great kick on her. does some good things, but she's still young and raw in that sense. And she was only on the field for 47% of the game last week, and kind of the easy swap for bringing, Gaunt out of the game and Teakle in particular with the fact that Greater Western Sydney don't really have a strong ruck department. Even their starting ruck gives up a lot of height to Matilda Scholl, so it's not like you're even. I just don't think it's the true second ruck unless you've got someone that can do that. Just works as much in the AFLW anyway, so you need to be able to do the forward roles. And Julia Teakle's just more advanced in her development. Obviously, had a great period of play last year, as she got affected by injury last year as well. But she had the 5-goal effort against the Bulldogs, and has had some really great games in that early period last year before she had some injury troubles there. But she got back for finals as well. Bringing Julia Teakle in just makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, it's Julia Teakle in, Chloe Gaunt out. Julia Teakle, who will, take some time up forward, but she can drop down back really handily if you need her to, and she can certainly kind of take some chop out ruck as well. So she's just it's an easy in for me if she was going to be available. You want to get her a game at least this year, and then if the miracle happens and you end up in finals, then you're going to be thankful that you got some time into her before you got into finals. Now, again, that is unlikely, but you've kind of got to go with that as your idea until it's completely snuffed, I think. So yeah, really, really glad to see Teakle back. It's just even stronger up forward than we already were. More for the GWS defense to kind of contend with than they've already been. They're already going to be looking to contend with Indy Tahoe and Gemma Houghton ranging around down there, and then obviously some fairly good handy accompaniments in the likes of Jazzy Soden and Justine MULES-ROBINSON, and whoever else ends up down there. Popey can pop up. You've got Jazzy Stewart that's doing the work. Like, there's a lot of weapons down that can float in and out of that forward line, and Julia Teakle certainly going to help in that department. Just the one change for the Greater Western Sydney Giants as well. Vivian Sard is omitted for Claire Ransom, a youngster coming back into the side. Has been around for a couple of years. So, just the one change each, but I think for us, it's a big positive change. Again, Chloe Gaunt, promise for the future, but Julia Teakle's a really one for now. And in both her role as a leader in this team and just what she can provide to that forward line and around the ground. So really, really pleased to see her back. And now, before we get to too much more talking about the game and everything, I'll play the voice note with Jamie so he can give his thoughts, and then I'll back off of that for the rest of this portion of the episode. So let's hear from Jamie.
G'day, Creed fam. Jamie here again, popping in to say hi and to provide my thoughts for the upcoming match versus GWS, a big one that I'm looking forward to for quite a number of reasons. But look, before I get into that, I just wanted to acknowledge something that has come to light today, something quite sad and has actually sat with me for a lot of the day. Regular listeners will know that I'm just as much of a cricket nuffy, if not more than I am a football nuffy. And unfortunately today, the world was alerted to the fact that young 17-year-old Ben Austin unfortunately lost his life due to a mishap at training where he was struck by a cricket ball to the neck in very similar fashion to Phil Hughes, and unfortunately lost his life playing for the Ferntree Gully Cricket Club in Victoria. Was warming up pre-match for a game, I believe, or at training, and whether he wasn't wearing a helmet or just unfortunate that maybe his helmet wasn't one that was equipped with a neck guard, and unfortunately got struck in the neck, and like I said, sadly passed away today. As not a new father, but a father of a new child, my second child, obviously things like these tend to hit home, particularly when my son is only 4 weeks old at the moment. But it's quite devastating. And, in Australia where sport is a large part of our identity, at junior level, or at any level, sport at the heart of it for a lot of people is an outlet for recreation. It's an avenue for camaraderie, building camaraderie between people, relationships, and ultimately connection. A lot of us play sport to connect with a group of people, whether it's to make a new group of friends, to feel part of a community, but just to enjoy a particular sport that we love. And young Ben was doing just that at 17 years old with his life ahead of him. Unfortunately, that's cut short. And, in these instances, it's important to acknowledge that sometimes safe is cool. I'm sure when the seatbelts got installed in people's cars for the first time, there was a bit of apprehension to use them, but we wouldn't dare leave our home without putting one on when we're in a car. And unfortunately, when it comes to a hard leather-bound corkball coming at quiet speed, hitting you in the neck can clearly be fatal. It is weird to think of something like that causing such serious harm, but it's a reality. And buying a helmet that's equipped with a proper neck guard, or wearing a helmet, I'm not sure of those circumstances what happened to it, but look, it's a small price to pay if it means keeping your loved ones around. And my heart absolutely goes out to that family, that community as well, because it won't just be the family, even though they're hit so very hard. The community, the broader community, will also feel that deeply for quite some time, and it's quite a sad moment. So just wanted to acknowledge that. Valet Ben Austin. Now, to much more happier news. Ash Woodland plays her 75th game this week. Isn't that amazing? A wonderful person, obviously starting her career in multiple other clubs before coming to Port Adelaide, but a Port Adelaide girl growing up. It is in her blood, and more than happy to welcome her back home when she moved over to Port Adelaide, obviously as a bona fide star in her own right, up as a forward, a leading goal kicker in her own right. And as Dave mentioned in our main show the other day, actually played up forward and kicked a goal or two for the Crows in the first showdown. But just, again, an amazing person who has actually both done how do I put this, has been brave enough to obviously switch positions for her own development, but for the betterment of the team as well, which shouldn't go unnoticed. It would be quite easy for Ash to put her foot in the ground to some extent and pushed for the fact that she's a forward, she's a bona fide star, like I just said, and that she should stay there. But obviously, someone's had a chat, either her to the club or like Loz Arnell or Loz Arnell and the coaching group to her, but they've decided to make her a full-time mid. And as we've spoken about on many occasions this year, she's just gone from strength to strength, starting to really flourish in that position. And I think in her 75th game, she'll be champing at the bit to get stuck in and perhaps even produce one of her career best games with what we have to play for, essentially, but also to show pride in herself, which I don't think is ever in question. Just a small stat that I actually heard briefly in the showdown on Friday night. She was, I think, in the top 10 for kicks leading into that showdown, but now it's slid to 14th, if you really want to call that much of a slide. The interesting part of that is I believe she's 49th for disposals in the competition. So being 14th for kicks kind of tells you what her modus operandi is when it comes to a game. Good luck to Ash, obviously in her 75th game. Really happy that she gets to play that in Port Adelaide colours, and obviously 75 games is no mean feat when it comes to the W competition, when only now we play a maximum of 12 games in the minor round, plus finals, of course. So good luck to her. Good luck to the girls as well on Saturday. It'll be a miracle on several grounds of grass, for want of a better phrase. But look, the goal is set. We've got Julia Tickle coming in for Chloe Gaunt, well predicted by Dave the other night. And look, it'll be all guns blazing, I would imagine, on our behalf, including Ash Woodland kicking it to those 3 power forwards that we have. And the equation's simple for us: keep GWS to as low a score as possible and kick as many points as we can, and hope for a couple of other miracle results to go our way. But look, that's all from me. Bit of an emotional one, but happy to finish on that note. Looking forward to the game, and hope we come away with just a fantastic win. So thanks, guys. I'll hand you back to Dave. Cheers. Go Power.
Yes, cheers, Jamie, and yeah, echo your sentiments on young Ben Austin as well. It was sad to just really sad to see that story. It's we love sport, and generally sports is a safe place for us to go. But yeah, just you have these things happen, and it's really puts things in perspective as well. But the cricket world and the wider Australian world will rally around his family and the memory of him. And yes, absolutely echo the sentiments on Ash as well. It's great to see like her career's come from a year at Melbourne, and then obviously at the Crows where she kind of flourished somewhat into the player that she is. But it is really interesting looking at her career totals, because we're looking at a player that's kicked 71 goals in her career, so averaging almost a goal a game, and really that average has dropped. She kicked she got in Melbourne. She didn't kick any goals in her short kind of appearances there. She kicked 9 at Adelaide in her first year, 14 in the second year, and then 21 in her third and last season at Adelaide, which was the leading goal kicker in the competition that year. As we know, Indy Tahoe, when he broke the record of 21 or more goals in a season, 22 or more goals in a season this last game in the showdown. So, in her first year at Port, she had 14 goals, but then last year she kicked 9, as she kicks 9 last year, her disposal average goes up, and she actually, for a season last year, averaged over 10 disposals for the first time in her career, basically. Earlier in her career, she was 4.5, 6 or 7, 8 disposals a game. Last year, she ticks up to 11.1, and this year she's at 17.7 disposals a game. So she's truly become that kind of midfield role that we've been loving this year. 17.7 disposals a game, 2.3 marks a game, which is by far a career high as well. 5.5 tackles a game, career high. Almost 4 clearances a game, again, career high. She's just hitting a lot of career high numbers. The only one she's not hitting is the goals, but because she's playing, if she's playing in midfield, she's still chipping in and kicking. I think she's got 4 goals for the year this year. Like, if she's popping down forward and popping one through when the opportunity arises, particularly the pressure's not on her. We got Indy Tahoe and kicking a record bag as it stands at the moment for the year, and Gemma Houghton's on a career best year behind her in goals as well. So she's not at all required to kick goals. She's required to be the midfielder that can pop down there and rest down there and still she does provide a hell of a challenge for forwards as well. She's a competitive mark, and then she can pop up and kick a goal as well. So an incredible feat for Ash absolutely echo Jamie's sentiments for her being a Port girl, growing up a Port fan, to play her 75th in Port colours, and she doesn't look like she's slowing down anytime soon as far as her career goes. She's, found a new role this year and is absolutely flourishing in it. She's been in our votes a lot this year, I'm stoked to see. She's hitting game 75. Can't wait to see where the next 25, 50, whatever it is that comes for her in the next few years. She's going to have. She's got a fair few more good games under her belt, but this week's certainly a good opportunity for her to finish out the minor round strong with that a lot of those career high numbers. Shout out to Ash Woodland again. Game 75. As far as the rest of the team goes, and how we will battle against this, look, there's some good talent in this GWS side, but clearly we know the way the season has been going, sitting in the bottom 4 of the competition with a couple of wins on the year, not doing too much against most of the decent opposition out there. They've lost to Gold Coast. They had a win against the Western Bulldogs, and actually had a win against Sydney as well. But beyond that, I don't think they've really won a game this year. more or less. Lost to the likes of Collingwood, beaten pretty comfortably by Adelaide earlier in the year. One of Essendon's win. We were talking about Essendon earlier in the week on the main show, how Essendon bounced out of the block to 3 wins for the season and haven't won since. Kind of shows the balance of the fixture a little bit there. But they've lost a few to teams that and they were handily beaten by Geelong. Freo got a close win against them, but the likes of Carlton, Geelong, West Coast have all beaten them quite comfortably this year, which kind of and their teams. West Coast is a team that we had a close game against. Geelong a close game as well. Carlton we haven't had the opportunity to face this year. Would have been fun to play Carlton just for the Poppy versus Matilda aspect of it, which would have been fun, but. Look, they haven't been competitive against sides that we've been competitive against this year. This is a side that we should be beating. The betting odds, again, gamble responsibly. We're not, sponsored at all, nor will we be. It's just betting odds do kind of give you an indication. Though it's been interesting this year. I've noticed a lot that we've flipped the table on a few of the betting odds this year, but I think that's also because we've been inconsistent, and as we've found that consistency, we've kind of flipped the table, flipped the script a little bit. But if you were looking at how we were playing, you would have been like, oh well, that was kind of there a little bit as well. But yeah, GWS. Well, I think we're $1.14 favourites. GWS out at $5.50. So and look, they've got some good young talent, but considering the side that we faced last year and last week in the Adelaide Crows, the Hawthorn the week before. And the fact that we went away, I know it was in Adelaide, but it's still a different ground, and Norwood is certainly a different ground to Alberton. So we were able to kind of manage that. So travelling up to GWS shouldn't be any form of stress, and just comparative to the teams we've played. Zali Goldsworthy and I don't know how to pronounce it, number 14, Caitlin Shrow, I think, I'm assuming. They've got some decent mids in there, good young mids that are coming through. But the likes of Tiny Evans and Georgia Garnett down forward for them, whilst, I think it's, might be flipping. I know one of them's a younger emerging forward. One of them's been around for a few years, I think, Tiny Evans. They can kick goals, but our defense has had some great tests over the last couple of weeks, and I just don't see this forward line being the same caliber. Tegan Jermak's just having a great year. Ella Head's having a great year. Since coming across. Ebony O'Day, I think, has grown into this season quite well. Obviously, and we love Emily Borg, and the players that can drop back if needed. Brooksby, the ones that can drop in and out of there. Just got a lot of talent coming out of the back line, but talent that can defend quite well as well. So I don't think we'll have too many problems down there. And then I think the Indy Tahoe and Gemma Houghton have been nightmares for all oppositions this year. Indy Tahoe's been kicking goals against both good teams and bad teams this year. So same with Gemma as they've gotten the season going, and then you're bringing in Julia Teakle as an extra one for you to contend with down there as well. So good luck to the GWS defense. And then you've got Eilish O'Dowd, one of the Russians. Where was that coming from? I think I was looking at her name is it's late. I'm delirious. But Eilish O'Dowd, one of the Irish gals that's in the competition, and she's quite a good player, but she's not one. So that's their ruck. But again, we're going to be winning hitouts. This is a gal that's gives up almost 10 centimeters to Matilda Scholes. Averages her hitouts average for this year is 6.5 hitouts a game. Her career average is 11.3 a game. So that's just her career high, I think, its season high is 12 hitouts. This is Matilda just has 12 hitouts and a half usually, not maybe not a half, but Matilda's getting 20 or more most games, and so this is just a gal that just doesn't get the hitouts that she does. She's an athletic player though, so she's going to be doing some of the things that Matilda does around the ground a little bit more. So that's where, but Matilda wins those is such a great midfielder player, run with player. Connection player as well. So that's this is going to be a little bit more of an athletic ruck that Matilda's playing against, but the fact that Matilda can win the ruck battle and then do the other stuff as well. She's not a high clearance player, Eilish O'Dowd. She's a 1.7 average for the season, 2.5 for her career. Hitouts to advantage, not doing too much there either. So she's a talent. I think she's won some she was recruited from like the island. Obviously, I think she's won some instrumental role in Dublin winning the All Ireland Gaelic Championship last year. So I think last year being 2023. So like she's got some talent. She's obviously an athletic player and will be a positive for GWS on the ground, but she's not going to be winning the ruck battle. And with how we've been winning, and then from that we've been able to frank that into some forward half pressure and clearance. We should be able to kind of structure our game around winning that comfortably. Matilda she's going to monster the hit outs, I think, based on what I'm reading on the stats, and we can kind of flurry out from there into our game plan, and hopefully have some decent forward half pressure, which we've done against better sides. And I don't mean to be any disrespect to GWS, but they've won 2 games for the year, so we've played better sides than them in the last couple of weeks and been able to dominate those games in large periods. So I think as long as we're switched on for this one, that shouldn't be a problem here either. As Jamie said in his bit, basically as far as the miracle results required this week, which obviously require other results going our way as well as us having a percentage booster of sorts, we need to kind of just go out there and treat this as like, let's go out, treat it like it's our last game of the year, leave everything on the field and see what kind of win we can muster up. If nothing else, if we go out there and have a big win, it'll be just a confidence booster going into next year that we both in the last 3 weeks, we've, beaten good sides and beaten them well. If not on the scoreboard, just in how we've played. And then if we can go out and get a big win, on the scoreboard against GWS, then kind of know that our level is well and above a certain level of teams, and then we're starting to match the better sides in the competition as well. So there's kind of there's a carrot there either way. There's obviously the carrot of win the game and see where we end up as far as the finals chances are concerned. But either way, just finish the season strong. You don't get to play too much footy at the top level with the shorter fixtures and all that. So, particularly for the likes of Julia Teagle coming in, but the players that have had good years will want to finish off the year strong and see where it can end up. I think we should be winning this game by 30, 40 points at least. Obviously, the percentage boosting aspect of it is real. And I just say 30, 40 as a baseline like that. Like if we only won this one by 30 based on how we've been playing recently versus how GWS have been playing, they're missing a couple of players via injury as well, some of their better players of the last few years. So we should be winning this one well. Like again, I don't mean any disrespect to GWS. It's just where both teams are at this point of the season. We are playing for a miracle shot at finals. They're genuinely just looking to the off season at this point, and just with the relative form lines of the two teams, that's the way it should be. So if we could go out there and have a win similar to the one that we had against Gold Coast, that would be fantastic. That would set us up with that percentage booster that we need, and then it just keeping GWS's score pretty low. But either way, just go out there and win big and see how the results fall otherwise. That's all we can do. This is our last minor round game of the year. I certainly hope to be back doing one more of these squad shows next week, but I still do think that's unlikely, unfortunately, because even if we win this game, unfortunately, it's out of our hands otherwise, and other teams are equally playing for some pretty big finals chances for themselves, like the likes of West Coast. We're having a good year and planning to play their first finals. So, yeah, long odds, but if this is the last squad show for the year, then thank you for those for joining us throughout the year, both on the men's ones, which were exclusive to Patreon, or the women's ones, which we've put out there for everyone, because we want to make sure the access for the women's footy stuff is out there for everyone, because we think it's really important to keep growing the game as it deserves to grow. As anyone that's kept up with Port over the past couple of years, it is a very, very rewarding and very, very fun experience following this Port AFLW side. We will, of course, we'll have there'll be a review of this game next week on the Tuesday as per usual on the main show, and then we'll hopefully, maybe be looking towards a finals game. But if not, we will, there's going to be drafts and stuff coming up both for the men's and women's. So there'll be episodes coming still throughout the next month or two, but it might get a little bit more as needs-based rather than the weekly Tuesday show. I've got a few ideas to sprinkle some content and stuff as I do some like work on the history side of Port as well. But yeah, then there might be a bit of a short break over the Christmas period as well, or a bit of a break over the Christmas period, which I think we're all in need of. Jamie and I have, and I really, really appreciate Jamie being just consistent, and even with his newborn and the new addition to the family and how busy they are with that, he's been ever present with his voice notes, and then of course coming back to the main show live in the past couple of weeks. So I know we're all probably, as much as we love doing this, we'll be looking forward to a break over the Christmas period. But as I said, there will be a few more episodes to come, regardless of if the AFLW season finishes this week or not. As I said, needs based on a few things, but yeah, definitely there'll be some draft content and a few other things, and a season review for the ladies as well. But yeah, that's about it. We'll be continuing with the Patreon portion after this. Again, if you're not signed up for the Patreon and you want to listen to that stuff, then once you sign up to the Patreon, it'll show, there'll be a timestamp on the Patreon show to show where the Patreon stuff starts from, so you don't have to re-listen to this. Patreon can be connected to your Spotify account, so the Patreon feed will show up in your Spotify as well. So it's the Creed, but a slightly different logo, so you can kind of which one's the Patreon feed and which one's the main feed. So yeah, it's very easy to connect and do all that stuff to listen to it. So yeah, that'll be starting in a moment. But for those of you that are listening to this on the main feeds on Spotify or whatever, and not signed up for Patreon, then the show is about to finish. Regardless of whether you're a Patreon member or not, we really appreciate the support, the listens, all the downloads, everything like that. We certainly notice that they drop off a little bit as the women's season comes on. So we do genuinely appreciate and have a lot of love for those out there that are continuing to support and follow the women throughout the season as well. I think it's really important to show them the support and love that we show the men's game throughout the season, because these ladies are representing our football club and doing it quite well of late, and they deserve every ounce of support we can give them as they try to finish this season off strong, and certainly going into 2026 as well. So yes, thank you all for listening, and can the pair.